Morphin' time!
Dragon Sword!
Every season of Power Rangers comes with a new morphing device to help the heroes transform into superheroes able to take on any villains that come as a threat to planet Earth. However cool or powerful Rangers might be, they would be totally useless without the aid of their trusty devices, the Morphers. These mighty morphing mechanisms, built to help the Rangers transform into their ultimate appearances, are powerful gadgets that take on an assortment of forms. From phones to wristbands, the Morphers hold the true power that lies within all of the Power Rangers. But which ones are the best? I've listed my personal top 10 favourite here. Let me know your picks in the comments down below. Number 10. The Samurizers. The Samurizers are used by the Samurai Rangers. These cell phone type devices are multifunctional and are not just used to morph. In battle, they can be used as an improvisational weapon used to summon forth anything the Samurai Rangers may need to combat the Nilox. The Samurizer is also used to summon the Zords and form a Megazord. The modern form has a light atop of the cell phone, which is used to execute symbol powers. It opens like a flip-top cell phone, and using the right kanji, provided that it is written in the correct stroke order, can do whatever its meaning indicates. A very useful morpher indeed. Number 9. The Wind Morphers. The Wind Morphers allow transformation into the Wind Ninja Rangers. They were given to Shane, Dustin and Tori by Sensei Kanoi Watanabe, and most likely developed by Cam Watanabe. Each morpher utilized a power disc which, upon calling out
Ninja Storm! Ranger Form!
required a simple spin to allow the three to morph. The Wind Morphers also served as a communicator and a weapon, firing those powerful beams. Number 8. The Quantum Morpher. Worn by Eric Myers of the Silver Guardians to become the Quantum Ranger, this red and black morpher was originally lost in the prehistoric era in the form of the Quantum Controller Box, though it was rediscovered later in an archaeological dig. Because the morpher was somewhat older than the Chronomorphers, it was less sophisticated in design and did not use the DNA imprint. Instead, it utilized a voice recognition software set to Eric's voice, only activating by the command of quantum power, by Eric or someone capable of impersonating him. Number 7. The Zeonizers. To replace the Power Morphers, Zordon creates the Zeonizers. Zeonizers are wrist-mounted morphers that rely on the power of the Zeo Crystal. They were also the very first wrist-mounted morphers. Other such morphers would be utilized from here on in following seasons. I was always a fan of having what is essentially two separate wrist morphers that connect together to initiate the morphing sequence. This, along with the call of the Zeo Ranger followed by the corresponding number and colour, turns the Rangers into the Zeo Power Rangers. Number 6. The Delta Morphers. The Delta Morphers might look like police ID badges, but they are the primary morpher of the SPD B-Squad Rangers. They're compact, practical, and are hailed with a call of
SPD! Emergency!
SPD Emergency. When not in use, they are worn in a holder at the Rangers' sides and at the back of the Rangers' suit belts when they are morphed. They include multiple functions activated by a switch on the top of the morpher which opens the morpher up. Some of the functions include changing, so when opened it displays the cadet's identification, and following a voice command, SPD Emergency, it triggers the morphing sequence. When opened following a voice recognized SPD Swap Mode, it materializes Swap Mode. It also acts as a phone communicator for the Rangers to contact each other or Delta Base, as well as summon the Delta Runners. It's also a judge. By measuring pulse and electrical impulses, it can assess the guilt or innocence of the intended target. The judgment reached is never wrong. Number 5. The Gold Power Staff. Not usually remembered as a morpher, but the Golden Power Staff doubles as both a morpher and a mighty combat tool. It is also used to pass down the Gold Ranger's powers. Aside from being the source of the Gold Ranger powers, it had the ability to fire energy attacks, and could be used as a blunt weapon or a bladed weapon when extended. I love its design, and having a staff as a source of your powers is so cool. Also, I recently managed to pick one of these up for myself, and it's awesome. If you're a fan of Zeo, you should definitely try and get your hands on one. Number 4. The Titanium Morpher. The Titanium Morpher is of course the morpher used by the Titanium Ranger. Stolen by Ryan Mitchell, this advanced prototype morpher was too dangerous to be used by any of the other Lightspeed Rangers. The circuitry of this morpher was stated to be too powerful for an ordinary human. This was shown when Carter attempted to morph with this morpher. It nearly killed him. How Ryan was able to endure its circuitry was never actually elaborated on. The other thing that makes this morpher unique is the fact that it, along with the actual Titanium Ranger, were the first original American Ranger and morpher, having no Sentai counterpart. I've always been a huge fan of the Titanium Ranger. We have a full video on him if you want to check him out as well. Number 3. The ASTRO Morphers. The ASTRO Morpher was a wrist-mounted gadget worn by the 5 main in-space Rangers, developed on KO-35 and given to the former Turbo Rangers by Andros. They were also the first multifunctional morphers, utilised for summoning the team's vehicles and Zords, as well as morphing and communication via entering 3-digit codes into the numerical keypad. This may sound silly, but I always thought the design seemed a little more realistic. I had one of these when In Space first came out, and I always felt like it was something that would actually turn me into a Power Ranger, or summon a spaceship. It sounds silly, but it's true. I also love the sound of the numbers. It may be nostalgic, but I can't help but love it. Number 2. The Power Morpher. The Power Morphers were given to the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by Zordon. They each contained a power coin created by Ninja embossed with an image of each Ranger's dinosaur or other prehistoric beast. The Power Morphers resembled metallic belt buckles that were worn as such by the Rangers in their morphed form. In their day-to-day lives, however, the Rangers generally wore them discreetly on the backs of their belts or carried them separately to avoid any suspicion. The metamorphosis process is usually initiated by shouting,
It's morphin' time!
and calling out the name of one's individual dinosaur. Simple, cool, and iconic. It's pretty much impossible to beat the Power Morpher. Well, except for with our number 1 entry. Number 1. The Master Morpher. Yes, you're right, this is sort of cheating, as the Master Morpher is essentially a Power Morpher, but with one major difference. It can access multiple power sources. The Morpher is used exclusively by the longest serving Ranger ever, Tommy Oliver. He can use it to access all of his previous Ranger forms, Mighty Morphin Green and White, Zeo, Turbo, and Black Dino Thunder. Plus, it's gold and looks awesome. It wouldn't really make sense to rank this lower than the Power Morpher, as it's essentially a better version of it. So that's it for our list for the best Power Ranger Morphers ever. As always, I assume many of you will disagree with these picks, which is absolutely fine. These choices are personal opinions. Just be sure to leave your top 10 favourite Morpher lists in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed the video regardless of whether or not you agreed with my picks. Thank you all so much for watching, may the power protect you, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.